Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is the grammar of Unit 2. And remember, Unit 2's theme is to go green and helping the environment. If you remember in a previous lesson, in the pair work with the partner to create more questions for the questionnaire in the first lesson, question and answers to add to the quiz, and then ask your classmates to check how green are they. These are some examples here. How do you set your air conditioner on a cold day? I don't turn it on. I put it on heat mode. I don't mind the cold. And the second question, what do you do with the plastic bags from the grocery store after you're done with them? Do you throw them in a regular garbage bin? Do you throw them in the street, or do you throw them in a recycling bin? So ask your colleagues some questions, either these two or the three more that you have written previously, just to check how green is your class. So these are today's objectives: to explain the reason for using infinitive or gerunds. So today we'll be taking gerunds and infinitives again, but this time more deeply. Use the gerunds after the correct verbs. Use infinitives after the correct verbs. Rewrite a sentence using gerunds or infinitive. Write the sentence according to a picture. Choose the correct verb of a sentence. Use gerunds after verbs, and also use infinitives after verbs. So these are all of today's objectives. We'll be taking them one by one. So you are familiar with the ing form of verbs used with progressive. Of course, you know progressive. We use ing with the progressive. I'm going, I'm sleeping, and so on. So the ing form can also be used as a noun. When an ing form is used as a noun, it is called a gerund. We call it a gerund. So there's another form of the verb that uses the ing that acts as a noun, so we call it a gerund. Again, you are familiar with the ing form of verbs used with progressive verbs. The ing form can also be used as a noun. When an ing form is used as a noun, we call it a gerund. So again, what is a gerund? It is an ing form of the verb that acts as a noun or is a noun. For example, here, we're eating more organic fruits now. We're eating more organic fruits now. And the second example here, I prefer eating organic foods. Again, we're eating more organic fruits now, or I prefer eating organic foods. The first sentence, eating is part of the present progressive verb, are eating. So in the first sentence, eating is part of the present progressive verb, are eating. In the second sentence, eating is used as a noun. It answers the question what after the verb prefer. So in the first sentence, eating is a verb. In the second sentence, eating is a noun because it came after the verb prefer. I prefer eating something. So eating here is not a verb, it's a noun. So gerunds after verbs. Gerunds are the ing form of a verb. They act like nouns and answer the question what. Again, gerunds are the form of the verb that ends with an ing that acts as a noun. And it also answers the question what. Let's see some example here. I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. Again, I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. So this answers the question what do you recommend? What do you recommend? You say I recommend turning off the lights. Or the other example here, our class enjoys learning about ways to help the environment. Our class enjoys learning about ways to help with the environment. You can ask here, what does your class enjoy? We use gerunds after some verbs, such as, again, we use gerunds after certain verbs, such as advise, begin, can't, stand, consider, continue, enjoy, finish, go, hate, imagine, intend, keep, like, love, prefer, quit, recommend, start, stop, or suggest. So each of these verbs, when you want to, the words that come after them is a gerund. When you say, I like eating in the morning, for example, I like eating in the morning, so eating here is a gerund. Or you can say, I love driving at night. So I love driving. Driving here is not a verb, it's a gerund, it's acting as a noun. Jumping to the infinitives after verbs here. So we finished the gerund that comes after the verbs that we just mentioned. So let's jump to the infinitives after verbs. An infinitive is to plus the base form of a verb. If you remember the infinitive that we took in previous lessons, the infinitive is to plus the main verb, the base verb of the base form of the verb. Like gerunds, infinitives act like nouns and answer the question what. So infinitives after verbs, they are just like gerunds. Again, an infinitive is to plus the base form of the verb, and also like gerunds, infinitives act like nouns and answer the question what. For example here, don't forget to reuse the plastic container. Don't forget to reuse the plastic container. Or do they intend to buy a hybrid car? Do they intend to buy hybrid car? So notice here the verb forget comes before the infinitive to reuse, and the verb intend comes before the infinitive to buy. We use infinitives after certain verbs such as agree, ask, attempt, begin, can't stand, continue, decide, expect, forget, hate, intend, learn, like, love, need, offer, plan, prefer, promise, remember, start, try, and want. So these are the verbs. Then you can put after them the infinitive to act as a noun. And notice here some of these verbs have some marks on them. What do they mean? These verbs can be followed by an object before the infinitive. Again, these verbs like ask, expect, need, and want, what about them? These verbs can be followed by an object before the infinitive. For example here, they want to plant a garden. They want to plant a garden, or they want us. So us here is an objective, to plant a garden. Again, these verbs can be followed by an object. So the object us came after the verb want. Again, these verbs can be followed by an object before the infinitive. So it's before the infinitive and after the verb. You can put the object. The verb, such as the verbs ask, expect, want. When a teacher says, I expect you to succeed. I expect you to succeed. So you here is an object. These verbs can be followed by an object before the infinitive. They want to plant a garden. They want us to plant a garden. So look at the questionnaire on page 16 to find more examples of infinitives and gerunds. The questionnaire that we took previously on page 16, let's check it again. Why? To find more examples of infinitives and gerunds. So this is the first part of the questionnaire. Can you spot here any infinitives or gerunds? Can you name a few here? Infinitive, to plus the base form of the verb, or a gerund, an ing form of the verb that acts as a noun. Let's check the answer here together. Yes, the first one. What do you do when you finish using your computer? Finish using. So using here is not a verb, it's actually a noun because it came after the verb finish. So it's here a gerund. Also here in the answer C, I wouldn't consider using. I wouldn't consider using. So here also is a gerund. What about the 3 and 4? Can you spot for me here some gerunds or infinitives? So let's check the answer here together. What kind of fruits and vegetables do you prefer eating? So the verb here is prefer. What comes after prefer, the ing form, is a gerund. It's a noun. It's not a verb. Again, what kind of fruits and vegetables do you prefer eating? Also here, I prefer eating fruits. It's the same thing, the same verb actually. Prefer and prefer. Also eating and eating. Also here, I prefer to eat. So you can say I prefer eating, or you can say I prefer to eat. So you can use the gerund or the infinitive form. And remember, they both act as a noun. You can say I prefer eating fruits, or you can say, as the answer B here, I prefer to eat organic fruits, and so on. What about 7 and 8 here? 7, the parts 7 and 8. Can you spot for me some gerunds and infinitives? Let's check them together here. I hate being hot. Hate. Hate comes with gerunds and also with infinitives. So I hate being hot. Is there another word here, another gerund or another infinitive here? You can say, do you try to conserve water? Do you try to conserve water? So the verb here is try to conserve, is also here is the infinitive. Also, I try to be aware. I try to be aware. It's the same verb, try and try, but the different kind of infinitive here, to conserve or to be aware. Also, I try hard. I try hard to conserve water. So all of these are infinitives. Some verbs can be followed by either infinitive or a gerund, just like the word hate. Some verbs can be followed by either infinitive or a gerund. The meaning of the sentence with these verbs is almost the same with either the gerund or the infinitive. We can say, for example, either I love studying or I love study. So some verbs that can come with the gerund or the infinitive, like love or hate, as mentioned here. The meaning of the sentence with these verbs is almost the same. They are almost similar in meaning. As the example here, we can say, I love studying or I love to study. One slight difference is that the person is more likely to use the gerund at the moment of doing the activity. So if you are at this moment of the activity, at the moment of the activity, it's preferable that you use the gerund. Again, one slight difference between them is that the person is more likely to use the gerund when at the moment of doing the activity. So let's jump here to exercise A. Circle the correct verb forms. Circle the correct form of the verb. Sometimes both gerund and infinitive are possible. So we have to we have to circle the correct form of the verb, and as we mentioned previously, sometimes both are correct, the gerund or the infinitive. Let's answer number 1 here. Do you want having or to have a positive impact on the environment? Number 1 here. Do you want having or to have a positive impact on the environment? So do we say having or to have? Check the verb before it, want. So yes, that's correct. Do you want to have a positive impact on the environment? I suggest giving or to give these steps a try. So I suggest what? I suggest giving or to give. Let's check the answer here together. I suggest giving these steps a try. The second part here, do you hate throwing or to throw away old clothes in the garbage? Again, do you hate throwing? The verb hate here. What comes after hate? What comes after hate? Is it the gerund or the infinitive? Check your answer again. Do you hate throwing or to throw away old clothes in the garbage. So before we move on, let's answer number 3. So is it throwing or to throw? And remember to check the verb that comes before these words. Hate. What comes after hate? A gerund or an infinitive? Yes, that's correct. They both are correct. You can say, do you hate throwing away, or do you hate to throw away the clothes in the garbage? Just like the verb love. Love and hate, they take both gerunds and infinitives. Consider giving or to give clothes that are no longer fit you to other people who can wear them. Consider giving or to give clothes that are no longer fit you to other people who can wear them. So number 4 is yes, giving. Consider giving. Number 5 here, quit. The verb quit, using or to use disposable batteries. So do we say quit using or quit to use disposable batteries? Quit using, quit to use. I think this is an easy one here. Of course, we say quit using. Quit using disposable batteries. Continuing here, begin using to use rechargeable batteries. So the word quit takes a gerund. What about the verb begin? Do we say begin using or begin to use? Let's check the answer together. Of course, begin takes both of them. It takes gerunds and also infinitives. Number 7 here, learn buying or to buy products with less packaging. Learn buying or to buy products with less packaging. So, learn to buy products with less packaging. Attempt buying or to buy. Attempt buying or to buy large containers of water, juice, and soda instead of individual serving size containers. So the verb attempt, does it come before the gerund or the infinitive? It comes, of course, before the infinitive. Learn, number 9 here. Learn avoiding or learn to avoid creating trash whenever possible. So, learn to avoid creating trash whenever possible. For example, when ordering food, avoid taking or to take any unnecessary utensils and napkins. So, the verb avoid. Do we say avoid taking or avoid to take? Yes, avoid taking any unnecessary utensils and napkins. Number 11 here, start making or to make. Yes, that's correct. Both of them are correct. Start making or start to make a shopping list before you go shopping. This will help you stop. The verb stop here, does it come with gerund or the infinitive? Stop. Yes, it comes with the gerund. Stop buying things that you don't need to on impulse. Number 13, keep reusing or to reuse your supermarket bags. Keep, yes, reusing your supermarket bags. This is actually an easy one. Exercise B here, answer the questions with complete sentences, then discuss your answer. So we have to answer these questions with complete sentences. Number 1, do you think cars will stop running on gas in the near future? Do you think cars will stop running, gerund here, will stop running on gas in the near future? Of course, this answer is up to you. Just answer the full question here. Yes, I think that in the near future, cars will stop running on gas. This is my opinion. Number 2, do you think people will begin to change their habits of consumption? Do you think people will begin to change their habits of consumption? How do they consume things? Do you think that people will change? Of course, this is a matter of personal opinion. For me, I wrote, yes, I think that people will begin to change. So begin is a verb. What comes after it is an infinitive. Their habits of consumption. Number 3, what is something you try to do every day to help the environment? Again, what is something that you try to do every day to help the environment? What do you try to do to help the environment every day on daily basis? Just give an answer here using try to do. Every day I try to remember to recycle trash like bottles and paper bags. Every day I try to, then you can put the verb here. I try to do this, I try to do that, and so on. Number 4, what is something harmful to the environment that you want to quit doing? What is something harmful to the environment that you want to quit doing? That you want to quit doing something that is harmful to the environment, and quit with the gerund here, doing. For example, I would like to quit driving long distances in my car that are unnecessary, of course, to quit driving long distances. What is something that you often forget to do? Something that you often forget to do, like, for example, here, I forget to bring a bag when I go to the grocery store. I forget to bring. Number 6, would you ever consider growing your own vegetable garden? Would you ever consider growing, a gerund here, your own vegetable garden? So have you ever considered doing this, growing your own vegetable garden? Yes, I would consider growing my own garden, vegetable garden. What is something you could stop buying? Something that you could stop buying. Stop and a gerund. Something that you can stop buying. For example, I wrote, I could stop buying water in bottles. Number 8, what changes do you hope to see in the environment in the next decade? In the next decade, in the next 10 years, what changes do you hope to see in the environment? For example, I wrote, in the next decade, I hope to see energy consumption, waste, and pollution reduced. Exercise C here, rewrite each sentence using the verb in brackets and gerund or infinitive. Make any other necessary changes. The first one is already done here. From now on, Jack is going to use only fluorescent light bulbs, and the verb start. And the answer here, Jack is going to start using only fluorescent light bulbs, to start using. So number 1, we're going to set the air conditioner on a timer at night, and the verb is plan. And the verb is plan. So use a gerund or here an infinitive with the verb plan. So how do we answer the first one? Yes, you say we plan to set. So it's an infinitive here. We plan to set the air conditioner on a timer at night. Number 2, I don't really read newspapers. I like reading the news online better. And the verb here is prefer. Does prefer go with a gerund or an infinitive? Let's check the answer here together. You say, I prefer reading the news online to reading newspaper. I prefer reading the news online to reading newspaper. Number 3, Arya thinks it's a good idea to print on both sides of the paper and recommend. The verb here is recommend. Again, Arya thinks it's a good idea to print on both sides of the paper, and the verb here is recommend. So recommend, does it go with the gerund or the infinitive? Let's check the answer here together. You say Arya recommends printing, so it's a gerund here, on both sides of the paper. Number 4, I can't believe I left the lights on again, and the verb is keep. I can't believe I left the lights on again. Again, so it means that he did it before, again and again. So, and the verb is keep. That's correct. I can't believe I keep leaving. I keep leaving the lights on. Number 5, gardening is one of my favorite activities, and the verb enjoy. So, yes, that's correct. I enjoy gardening. This is an easy one. Number 6, we should continue to find ways to use less energy. And also the verb here is keep. So the answer should be, we should keep finding ways to use less energy. That's correct. Here's a language builder for you. With the verb prefer, we often use the structure prefer X to Y. prefer X to Y. For example, I prefer reading to watching TV, or I prefer chocolate ice cream to vanilla. In sentences 4 and 6, keep plus the verb ing means to continue doing something. For example, I'm going to keep trying until I succeed. So when you say I prefer X to Y, it means that you like X more than Y. Exercise D here, look at the picture, page 19. So open your books, page 19. Write a paragraph about ways Faisal could change his habits to become more green. Use gerunds and infinitives. So you can begin with this. There are many things that Faisal can do to become more green, first of all, and then you continue writing this paragraph. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.